Hey there, welcome to Farmcraft 102. I'm in my wood shop and I'm getting ready to start working on a dust collection, or a pre-filter essentially, for that Mr. Cool unit. You can see I've got a piece of cardboard on top of it to prevent dust from getting in, and I haven't been using it because with the amount of dust you get in a shop, it will quickly clog it up and get all in the fins and everything, and then get in the condensate drain, clog that up. It's a nightmare. So we need to be careful and make a really good pre-filter that's going to take all that junk out of there. I have two air filters in my house, and they both take these 20 by 25 by 1 filters. So I figured I would just design it to take the same size. That way they can all be used anywhere. I've been sitting here trying to plan this thing and doing some sketching. I measured out my filters, and I know how big the unit is. It's 8.5 by 40.5. So that's what I want to join onto it with. The problem is that the front of that thing pivots open and that goes up. So I can't put the box directly on it. So the box with the filters is going to be up 5 inches from it, and then I'll have to make a little kind of duct that goes between them. You'll see. I'm just going to start cutting stuff out, and I'm sure going to make some mistakes, but I'll be able to fix them, and we're going to throw something together. Pretend you didn't see that. I forgot to line up the end. This making sense yet? It will in a minute. I put it in place, and something that I didn't have clearly in my mind is how this was going to work, this area above it. Some people are really good at visualizing entire structures in their head. I'm not good at that. There were some holes here. I don't know if you can see there. I sprayed great stuff foam in there to plug them in the back so that it wouldn't be able to suck air from there. The only air that can get in here is through this top here. I'm going to need to cut a hole in the bottom of my box that's at least as big surface area wise as this top. So I'm going to close off the back, this piece of plywood here. And now I still want this thing to be able to open without too much trouble. And when I open it, it sticks up and back. And I've marked a line right there and there. So I don't want my sides that I'm going to put on here to close this off to go past that line. So that'll be the next thing I do, is close it off to there and then there. So the final thing is going to be making a board that easily goes on, seals the rest of it up, and can just be taken off with a couple quick screws. So if I ever want to open this thing and get to these filters, see these right here are the internal filters of the unit you take out. All I'll have to do is pop this front board off, and then I can do those filters. Now the thing is, these filters are almost never going to need cleaned because I'm filtering way better with what I'm going to have up here. So only clean air is going to be getting in here. I don't think these things are going to need much attention, but they will at some point. I think you get the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and screw this on where it is, but then I can mark out and get an idea of where the hole in this is going to be to allow the air to come through our filter box. So I've got that screwed on and I've marked a line where it goes. So now I'm going to pop this guy back off. I'm going to cut the bottom out, and I'm going to go ahead and caulk everything because the next time I put this up here, it's staying. So the opening on the top of the unit came out to just under 220 square inches, and this is like 260, so significantly bigger. So these side pieces are a little bit tricky because there's an angle here, but it's really not hard to deal with. I made it a little bit long, and I'm going to hold it up there, and then see, I've got this much of a gap here. I want to close that gap, so I set my compass to that dimension and then scribe it. And that makes a nice line that I'll continue it straight. If I cut that off, this thing's going to come down and fit just fine. Now I want to open this front. Yeah, that's plenty right there. Yeah, that's good enough for who it's for. All right, I went ahead and caulked in there too. So now everything is done except this plate right here. And as it sits, this thing still opens just fine. I just need a cover. The thing is, you'll see that the vent comes out from where this is, and that's because of it opening. But I'm just going to put a piece on that pads that out, and I measure it needs to be like 1.5 inches. I've got plenty here to come against, and then I'm going to land it right on the edge there. You'll see what I mean. But basically, I've reduced it down to all I have to do is cover this. Not a big deal. I made this cover plate. I padded it out, and then I added these blocks because on the bottom there was a gap. You'll see that once I install it in just a second. Put a couple handles on it just so I can pull it out at some point. But the reality is this thing isn't coming out of here for a long time. Originally, I was thinking I was going to do some weather stripping or something to seal it up. But now that I look at it, I think I'm just going to do electrical tape. But let me throw this thing in there real quick. So there you can see on the bottom, there would have been a gap there if I hadn't put that extra little block in. I put these there just so that it has something solid to go against, thinking I was going to screw it in place. Maybe I will put one big screw in there just to hold it. Yeah, I'll do that. A deck screw right in there on both sides, and then tape it up. Reality is, I'm probably not going to be cleaning those interior filters for 5 years, maybe more, because when I do these filters, I can look down in there and see how they look. See, you've got a nice view of it there. So I'll just take a glance at them when I change these filters out, and if they look good, they're going to stay put. And these filters are going to filter so much more than that stupid little screen in there would. So yeah, I don't see that screen needing attention very often. All right, I've got a deck screw in each side, and then I just took electrical tape and taped up those seams. I'll just have to keep my eye on it and make sure that tape stays put. But I think that'll be fine for a good while at least. So this thing's safe to use now. Well, that took a little longer than I was expecting, but that's always the case, isn't it? It came out good. It's exactly what I wanted. I'm happy with it, and it really wasn't too bad. I would recommend building it pretty much that way. Get your filters and just kind of custom make everything around them, and then obviously custom make to whatever unit you have. I was just using scrap plywood that I had on hand. If I was to go buy plywood for it, I would get 3/4 inch. That would just make it easier screwing the box together. When you're trying to screw into those thinner pieces of plywood, they tend to split. But, you know, the 1/2 inch worked too. Yep, I think that's going to do the job for a good while. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.